DreAllDay.com.
What up, everybody? Dre Baldwin, DreAllDay.com. Today is Friday the 13th, June 13th, 2014. So we're here at Q&A number 23. This video will be going up Saturday afternoon or early evening, depending on your location. Let's get right into it. For those who don't know how this works, I go through each question, each comment, question one by one. I have not looked at these previously. I'll respond to everybody's question as long as it's not something I've already covered or it's not a ridiculous statement or question. And any of you who have further questions, you post them in the comments to the video that you're watching right now, and then I'm going to answer those in the next Q&A video. So let's get right into it. First question is from Levin Ite. He says, do you think it's possible to become a pro basketball player at age 19 or 20 in the United States, or is it already too late? A lot of people ask me these questions about, can it be too late? People use that phrase, too late. Well, the thing about it being too late is that it depends on that person. Like, I'm not going to sit here and tell any of you, no matter what your age or situation, that it's too late for you to do anything. You got to decide whether it's too late for you to do something or not do something. That's not somebody else's call. Like, you should never ask another person, is it too late for me to become this? Because if they say no, are you really going to take that they told you no and actually quit? Or are you just saying it because you just want something to talk about? Like, if somebody was to tell me, like, no, you can't do this because it's too late because your situation is this, this, and this, like, that's ridiculous. I'm not going to base my life on what somebody else thinks I could do or could not do. I don't care how educated, how accomplished, or even if I look up to that person. You can't let another person determine what you're capable of doing in life. Like, Drake got a line about that in his last album. He said his uncle said, oh, well, this is life, I guess. Nah, fuck that shit. Listen, man, you can still do what you want to do. You got to trust that shit. So you just got to decide what you are capable of doing. It's not for anybody else to answer, even me. And the next question, Andres Grustans. He said he wants me to tell more stories, like the Dre Stories channel. One of my other YouTube channels, that's youtube.com/Dre Baldwin, where I tell stories on that channel. I haven't posted one in a while, so he said he wants me to post some more. I will post some more once I think of something to tell. So when I think of something, I'll post them. David Machiavelli says, what's my favorite rap album? His favorite is Illmatic by Nas. If I had to pick one rap album, I'll give you four. I'll say 50 Cent's Get Rich or Die Trying, Jay-Z's Reasonable Doubt, Big's Life After Death, and Tupac All Eyes on Me. If I had to pick one album, and I knew I couldn't listen to no other albums ever again, I probably had to go with Big, All Eyes on Me. I mean, Big, Life After Death. That's two different albums. Big, Life After Death, just because it goes through every possible way you could be feeling, is covered on that album. If I just had to pick one once, like just for the energy and the feel, I'd go with 50, Get Rich or Die Trying. And the real T Money says, what's my favorite signature workout that I use? Great vids, Dre. Dre Baldwin signature workout. I am going to make a Dre Baldwin signature workout program. It's probably going to be bigger and longer and more. There's going to be more to it probably than any of the other signature workout programs, but I haven't completed it yet. So when that comes, you'll know about it. Mr. Potato Stack. He says, how do I find a gym to work out in by myself, like when I post my videos on YouTube? Well, it ain't really that I look for a gym to work out in by myself. Usually if you go to a basketball gym, if you're not with nobody, then you're just going to go on the court by yourself unless you're going to play against people. And if there's nobody there, there ain't nobody there. I mean, nothing I can say. It's not like I try to make sure nobody else comes to the gym, or I tell people don't come to the gym. I just go to the gym, do my thing. If nobody else is there, they ain't got nothing to do with me. That ain't my business. I'm just focused on handling my business, which is to put in my work. What anybody else is doing or not doing, I'm not concerned with. Mac Mitchell says, well, I make more signature workout programs. And he suggests Isaiah Thomas, the Detroit Pistons Isaiah Thomas, DeMar DeRozan, and Tim Hardaway are some suggestions. Tim Hardaway is a good suggestion. I might actually think about doing the Tim Hardaway. As far as Isaiah Thomas, I didn't really watch Isaiah that much. He retired before I was really watching basketball that closely. So I might get into him, but don't hold me to that. And DeMar DeRozan, I'm holding out on DeMar DeRozan. That might come, but I'm holding out on him. He might have to put in another season or two of work before I could come up with a DeRozan program. DTTAWS says, Dre, I'm 13. I struggle shooting threes because I'm not strong enough. Do I know any workouts that can help his long-range shooting? Well, first of all, you should check out the Q&A I did with Coach Hoover from the Pro Shot Shooting System. Put that out about 2 Saturdays ago, so go through on my playlist. Go to the collaboration/Q&A playlist. You'll see the 2-part video I did with him and the free ebook he put out, which has all the information you could ever need about shooting. It's free. It's from his website, and the link to that ebook is in the video description of that video that I just told you about. So go read that. That'll give you anything you need to know about shooting. And anybody else who asks me about shooting in this video, I'm going to refer you to that exact same information. And you're 13, you struggle shooting threes. The next thing you need to do is stop shooting threes until you get strong enough and you know exactly what you're doing. And so in the meantime, work on doing other things that you don't struggle at. Like work on your ball handling, your decision making, your passing, your defense, your basketball IQ, which comes from playing experience. Work on those things. Stop focusing on the thing you're not good at. You're wasting time spinning your wheels. Johnny Cabe says, I play ball every day for 2 to 3 hours. Sometimes I get bad knee pains. Any tips on what to do? You can try icing your knees after. You try doing certain stretches. Which ones in particular? You should probably check out the Jumpers Knee program that Jacob and I from Jump Manual put together. That's at dreallday.com/Jumpers Knee. Jumpers Knee. The link is also in the description to this video. Heriberto Perez says, Dre, your vids are awesome and so helpful. Thank you. He says, I'm on a mission to play you one day and be better. Anyways, my question is, as senior trainer, I wonder if you're trying to get with her. No. So people ask that, sometimes comments in the video, Heriberto. So now if anyone asking that, the answer is no. All right, next question. Anthony Menopoli says, I recently broke my foot. Are any ways I can stay in shape for sports with a broken foot? Well, it depends on what sport. You know, some sports you might not need your feet, like wheelchair basketball. I don't know. You probably have to ask your doctor what you can do and what you can't do with a broken foot. That's not my area of expertise, so you won't want my knowledge on that because I don't have any. Joey Kim says, do I think Kevin Love will play for the Celtics? Where do I think he will go during free agency? If I could play for any NBA team, who would I play for currently? Well, to answer the second question, no team in particular wouldn't matter to me. Do I think Kevin Love will go to the Celtics? Well, Kevin Love's not a free agent. He's under contract. And he's told his team that he's going to opt out next year, but they might trade him before then. So he may not actually even become a free agent. So he would have to become one before I could speculate where he would go. Do I think it's possible he can go to Boston? Yes, because they have assets. They can make a trade work, but we'll see what actually does take place. Elias Money says, do I do any other ventures besides public speaking? The videos I've been posting, you can see those on one of my other channels, which is YouTube/Dre All Day, and also my Facebook page, which is /Work on Your Game. He says, for example, writing a new book. If not, will I continue to upload speeches? Well, yeah, I got a few other ventures besides these videos that I do, public speaking, a few other things that you may or may not know about. Something I know you don't know about. Writing, yes, I definitely am writing a new book, writing a couple new books. None of them is close to finish yet. And will I continue to upload speeches? Yes, of course. Let Beautiful says, I'm 6'10", I can grab, I think he means grab net with a vert. I don't know. He says, I can't dunk because I seem to not jump high with the ball. Okay, so he said he can grab the net or the rim. He doesn't say the net or the rim when he jumps, but when he has a ball, he can't jump as high. Is it normal? Do I need to jump manual? I'm only 13, so I think my muscles causing it. I don't know if he said I'm 6'1" or 6'10". He's 13, so I don't think he's 6'10", but whatever his height is, doesn't matter. If you can't dunk the ball, you want to be able to dunk the ball, you should probably use a program that is designed to help you dunk the ball, which would be the Jump Manual. dreallday.com/Jump Manual. Is it normal? People describe this situation to me and ask me, is it normal? There is no normal. What's normal? I mean, I don't understand why people always ask that. Is something normal? There's no such thing as normal. There is what your situation is, and then there's everything else. Everybody is unique. There is no normal that some situation happens to everybody. Everybody has their own unique experiences. Daniel Delgado says, Am I looking to play pro basketball? He's from Puerto Rico. There's a good league here. And Phil Jackson coached there a long time ago. Yeah, I did know that. I know Puerto Rico has a good league. But thanks for the information, Daniel. Dante Allen says, how can I drive myself to keep playing basketball if I don't feel like it? You can't. Go find something else to do. Basketball ain't for you if you don't feel like it, obviously. Mr. Big Shot Boyle says, what's my opinion on AAU basketball? What about it? Ask me something specific about it, and I give you my opinion. But I don't watch it that much to really say that much about it. I don't follow AAU basketball at all. Trenton Mulder says, what is my ideal food to eat before a game? I don't have an ideal food to eat before a game. I just eat a regular meal hours before the game, and then going into the game is nothing. I mean, a few hours into the game, an hour or two out of the game, not eating anything. Maybe a banana or something like that. But it is no ideal food. Rob J. And actually, to further that answer, Trenton, even if I did have an ideal food, that doesn't necessarily mean that's something that you should copy, because my body is my body and my preferences are my preferences. We don't all like the same food. So even if I name something, let's say that's something you hate, that doesn't mean you should make yourself eat it just because somebody else ate it. You can try things. You got to try things and see what works for your body. Rob J says, I want to say thank you for putting out Ultimate Athlete. He's been using it a long time. He's seen a lot of positive results in his condition, his overall strength, and size. Thank you, Rob. Glad to hear that Ultimate Athlete's worked out for you. And that's at hoophandbook.com for those who don't know. Joel Ariola says, you're my idol. I love your vids. So thank you, Joel. So I want to ask you, do you play other sports? If so, what sports? No, I do not play any other sports other than basketball. Nothing at all. Gavin Williams says, what's my opinion on the LA Clippers? Why do I think they're not going all the way? I think they got a good basis, but the teams who beat them are just better. I think OKC is a better team. I think the Spurs are a better team. As far as going forward, what can they do? That's tough. They're going to have to get rid of some key guys or move in some other guys. I mean, they got Blake and Chris Paul, those two top 10 players right there. They got a high-priced coach in Doc Rivers. The bench is okay. I think they can get better at the wing position. I think the 2 or the 3 position, they can use an upgrade. They probably need to get those wings. Who they had was Matt Barnes, I like. But I think Dudley kind of lost his whatever. He lost it, whatever you want to call it. He wasn't good this past year. And their bench as far as the big guys go. They got DeAndre and Blake, but when they're not in the game, I don't think they had any really good guys coming in behind them. I think you need that to be a championship team. Scott Fisher says, if your shot is cold in the game, how can you get hot again without it affecting your game? Well, I guess the only way to define being cold or hot as far as shooting goes is whether the shots are going in. So if you want to get hot, you need to make some shots. I mean, there's no secret magic words or information or thought that's automatically going to make you start making shots, because if there was, I think everybody would already know about it. But if you find out, Scott, you let us know. John Jones says, how can you tell if you overtrained? Listen to your body. Ray Tocino said, when I play and I miss a shot, why do I feel like I'm going to get judged? I don't know, Ray. You're asking me to explain your feelings, and that's impossible for me to do. You would have to explain your feelings to me instead of asking me to explain them to you. I'm not a psychologist, and even if I was, all a psychologist does is get you to express your feelings. They don't determine what your feelings are. Nobody can tell you what you're feeling. Only you can. Or why. That's your job. Malcolm Stevens says, who's my favorite NBA player? Nobody. Michael Jordan, but he don't play no more, so nobody. Jarvis Ware says, I'm a good on-ball defender. I love to get up and pressure guards and beat my man to the spot when they try to get around me. A lot of teams set screens on me to release the pressure. Once or twice a game, I get called for a foul trying to get through a screen too aggressively. He says, how do you go about getting through screens set on you? Well, it's kind of hard for me to say it in words. It'd be probably better if I was to show you a situation. But there was actually, I was looking at a video. I think Eric Spoelstra was showing his players how he wanted them to get around screens. I don't know if the video is on YouTube or not. This was years ago, but he was showing them how he wants them to do it. It's basically like a swim move. So if the screener is here, if I'm the screener, you're going to try to get your hand right on the side of them and kind of get your arm past them, and then you kind of swim past them. So it's kind of like a swim move to get around that screen. But that's just one way, and that's only in one situation. There are 1,000 different scenarios you could be in when it comes to screens, on the ball, off the ball, and it depends on how the defender's setting the screen and how you're playing the guy you're playing against. their strengths and weaknesses and what exactly your philosophy is, what you're trying to do with that player, and what you're trying to do as a team. So there's a lot of different things. There's not any one way. It's really hard for me to just say do this, because that's not going to work in every situation. Les Alexander says, what's the biggest obstacle you had to overcome so far in your career? How'd you overcome it? What motivated you? Les, you should read my book, Buy a Game, DreAllDay.com/buy-a-game. And then read my website too, as I wrote about these things. Russell Meacham says, will I be making any breakdown vids of NBA Finals games? Nah, probably not. That's not really my thing. I did a few breakdowns of some games earlier in the playoffs, but it ain't really my thing to do. I just did it just to see how it would go, but don't expect me to keep doing that in the future. That's not really what I'm going to be doing. I'll probably take some games, some plays and moves and stuff like that from certain players and break those down, like individually. But as far as actual game analysis, no. Juan Cruz Guerrero says, Dre, I love your videos. Thank you, Juan. He says, they've been helpful for me for a better player. And then he says, have I played NBA 2K? And if I have, what do I think of it? Juan, no, I do not play video games at all. So I have not played NBA 2K14. Scott Fisher says, I get stripped when I drive past people. Any little things I can do to avoid turning it over? Well, you can stop getting stripped. And there's a lot of different things you can do for that. You should check out. You should be subscribed to my channel, because I put out a video actually earlier this week and last week of Stephen Curry moves, where I'm showing specifically what he's doing to avoid the strip after he gets by a guy. So if you subscribe, Scott, go back and check that video out. And if you're not subscribed, make sure you subscribe so you see it. And also check out my how-to/tutorials playlist, where I have a tutorial on how to protect the ball when driving to the basket. So that answers your questions specifically. It's your boy KD. Says, Dre, thanks for the vids, man. Keep up the good work. Would I ever consider playing ball in Australia? Is there any place in particular I would rather play? Keep up the good work. Work on your fucking game. It's your boy KD. Well, first of all, you're welcome for putting out the vids, and thank you for appreciating them. He says, would I ever consider playing in Australia? Of course. I would love to play in Australia if there's the right situation. People got to understand about pro basketball. It's not just so simple as would you play here or would you love to play there, because there's a league here, there's a league there. There's a buyer's market as far as pro basketball goes. But thank you for putting that out there. Andre Diaz says, he says, Dre, do you think you got what it takes to play NBA basketball? Yeah, I think I got what it takes to play anywhere. But it's like I said before, it's about timing, fit, and opportunity when it comes to the pros. It's not necessarily about having skill. You got to be there at the right time. You got to fit, and you got to have the right opportunity presented. John Michelle Sillier says, I'm 6'2". What position would I play in high school in the USA? Because he's a foreign player. I don't know, John. It actually depends more on how you play, your style of play, and your skill set more than it depends on your height and the team that you're on based on their personnel. So it's not just about how tall you are. Andy Sketch Talk says, Carmelo to Houston. That's his whole comment with a question mark. I'm not really into the prognostication of what's going to happen in the future, especially in free agency. I don't even care. Let's just see the games. I care way more about the games than free agent signings and all that shit. The real deal 3161 says, what's the worst injury you had in your entire career? Worst I've ever had was probably knee tendonitis or jumper's knee. That was in college. And I wrote about that in my book, Buy a Game. Ethan Whitworth says, in my paleo lifestyle of eating, is kale usually part of my meal? I don't usually eat kale like that because I don't really like it. I prefer spinach as far as greens go. So usually I have way more spinach than I have kale. But kale's a dark green leafy vegetable, which is a highly recommended vegetable to eat for people who want to eat greens. So kale is good, but I don't usually eat that much kale. Ethan Whitworth, actually that was Ethan's question. TJ Brown says, have I ever posterized someone in a game before? Yeah, I have. I don't have too many videos of posterizations in games. Actually, if you go back in my channel to my very first video that I ever posted on my channel, you'll see one of my best dunks. I'm not sure it was really a posterization on anyone, but it was a big time dunk at this pro camp that I went to, the first one I ever went to. Troy Ortiz says, how determined are you to go into the NBA? I don't know. How do I define my determination to go into the NBA? David Stapleton says, Dre, keep up the great videos. Most of my basketball life I play on 10-foot goals. Says when he goes to his friend's house to play pickup, the goal is 7 or 8 feet and he misses, and he's scared that if he changes his shot, he'll lose his muscle memory on the 10-foot goal. But his friend said, if you're a good shooter, you can shoot on any goal. Is that true, or should I worry about me not shooting on the 8? Please reply. First of all, I'm going to put please reply after you ask me a question. I answer all the questions in the video, so you don't have to put that. Anyway, you're scared? What are you scared of? What's actually going to happen to you, David? So I don't understand the scared part. I mean, if you want to play basketball, play basketball. If you don't want to play on the 8-foot goal, stop going to your friend's house and stop playing there. You can make that decision. This question really is immaterial. The Encore Clan channel says, what workouts can I do without weights to lose belly fat and gain muscle? You can do the Ultimate Athlete, which you can get at hoophandbook.com. It's a 15-week off-the-court, complete intensive training program for basketball players specifically. Harris Cowles says, Dre, first I want to thank you for posting motivational videos every week. You're welcome. He says, improve my mental game, but he has a problem. He's 17, been playing ball for 5 years. He can't coordinate school and practice. Do I think he should keep practicing and risk his grades or just practice less? He knows he has to work more than everyone else because he started at a pretty late age. Harris actually wrote about this on my website, dreallday.com. Click on the link that says guides and tips. I wrote about balancing school and sports. So that answers your question right on the dot. The Fruity Melon says, do I think getting good grades in school makes you smart? Well, it depends on how you define smart. And it also depends on what you define as good grades, and also depends on what school you're at. So there's a lot of undefined things in that question. So I can't really answer it. Robert Ornella says, did I start in high school, and until what year did I make varsity? Robert, read my book, dreallday.com/buy-a-game. BUYAGAME. That is a book and it's free on my website. Lakers fan 2425. Can I make a video of my entire shoe collection of stuff I don't wear for basketball? Maybe, but don't hold your breath on that. Ahmed Masood says, who I think has the best jumper in the NBA? Right now, I guess we have to go with Stephen Curry. I mean, he got the record for making threes in a season, so I guess we can just go with that. And of course, Ray Allen we can talk about, but Curry's done it in more volume right now, and he got the record, so I'll go with him. Robbie DX says, can I bring back the Signed Dre Baldwin series on my channel? Well, we'll see. I'm working on some things with the Signed Dre Baldwin in the background right now that's not video type of material, but we'll see what happens, so stay tuned. Raymond Trend says, how do I increase my shooting range? Raymond, refer to the shooting video that I just talked about earlier in this video and click on the link to the ebook in the video description of that video, the Q&A with Coach Hoover of Pro Shot Shooting System. There's a free ebook. It's about 100 pages long. It got all the information on shooting you could ever want. Gonzalo Saavedra says, what's my favorite Gatorade flavor? I don't really drink Gatorade anymore, but I like if I had to pick one, I like the blue ice, like whatever it's called, the ice or fire, whatever they call it. NBA 2K all day. Says, how many hours did I practice outside? How many hours a day? Well, I didn't count the hours. People always ask questions about how much time you actually practice. That doesn't matter. It's actually what you're doing when you're out there that matters. So I never counted how many hours I would practice. I'll just be out there practicing until I felt like leaving. Jacob Wilson says, what's my religion? I don't subscribe to any religion. Siobhan Daly says, Dre, did you play point guard in high school, and what age did you stop growing at? No, I did not play point guard in high school. I played like forward. And what age did I stop growing at? I don't really know. I never really paid attention to that. I didn't care about that. I know a lot of y'all care about it, but I didn't care. Casuel87 says, Dre, are you a physical or a mental player? Why would you be one or the other? I've never seen anybody who was just one or the other. I think everybody's a combination of both, including me. Dangerous K says, you mentioned before that you ride a bike for exercise. What kind of bike do you have? I do ride a bike sometimes for exercise, not an everyday thing, but yeah, I got a bicycle. I mean, it's a two-wheel bicycle that you pedal, not a motorcycle, but a bicycle. I don't know, there are different types of bikes. I don't know what it is, so I couldn't tell you. It's just a bike. Kyran Pierce says, my shooting form is getting better and better. Is it right to hold my wrist up when I release the ball when I shoot? Kyran, refer to that shooting ebook that I just talked about from Pro Shot Shooting System. They cover everything about shooting, including that. Legendary Icon 1 says, Dre, when you were a teen, how often would you play? Would you recommend for someone who doesn't have access to a basketball court? And what would I recommend? How often would I play? I would play all the time. Once I got into basketball, I started playing ball every day. Again, read my book, dreallday.com/buy a game. What would I recommend to someone who doesn't have access to a court? Well, if you can't get on a court, what can I recommend for you to do? Go find a court and play. If you want to play, go play. If you can't play or don't want to play, don't play. I mean, there's nothing else I can tell you. If you don't have a court, there's nothing I can tell you that's going to make a court magically appear. So either go play or don't. Melvin Aladdin says, in the 48 Laws of Power, which law am I most interested in and why? It's not about basketball, but he noticed that I say I read a lot of books. 48 Laws of Power, which law am I most interested in and why? This is not actually the true answer, but I refer to the law number 4. Always say less than necessary, so I can't tell you the answer. Ray Miza says, thanks for motivating me every day. It's amazing to see your YouTube grow. I've been a subscriber since you had 10K. Well, thank you, Ray. Glad you've been around for that long. It has been a long time. Hussein Olger says, my question is, who do I think is one of the best players ever to play, old or current? Oh, best post players ever to play, old or current. He's thinking Tim Duncan. Yeah, I think Tim Duncan is one of the greatest of all time. Definitely a Hall of Famer. Got 4 rings, and as of today, he's 1 win away from having another ring. So, yeah, Tim Duncan is definitely one of the greatest. Alexander Donlon says, Dre, first off, thank you and enjoy your content. Well, thank you, Alexander. He says, question, am I going to get any more shoes? Yeah, I think at some point in life, I'm going to buy another pair of shoes or acquire another pair of shoes, at least one more, because every shoe I got ain't going to last forever. So the answer is yes. Excuse me. Jeezy Dog PSN says, when is my next signature workout coming out and who will be in it? I don't know yet, Jeezy, and it won't be just one. It'll be several at the same time. But you have to stay tuned and see. Tony says, since the summer, can I make an event in Miami where fans could meet up with me for a workout or riding bikes together, etc., etc.? I might do that. It's a good idea, Tony. I'll look into it. We'll see. Richard the Third says, when I drive, can you use your offhand to put an elbow in the defender to protect your layup? Well, it's kind of very nuanced. It's not like just put an elbow in, because you would have to, it depends on how you do it. If the ref can see it, how the referee interprets it, how much force you put into it. So there's a lot of intricate factors that go into that besides me just saying yes or no. Alec Aponte says, Dre, have I ever been in a fight? If so, what happened, bro? Yeah, I've been in fights before. Some I won, some I lost. I don't know what else to tell you. Ain't no videos, no world star. Skoog says, Dre, did you change your jumper at all after reading the Pro Shot shooting system? No, I didn't, but I think he has very good information. So if you want some information on shooting, I would refer anyone to that because it's very comprehensive and covers everything. Shake and Bake 399 says, what I think is the hardest offensive move to defend? Any offensive move. It depends on the skill of the player doing the move that makes it hard to defend or difficult to defend, and also the skill and abilities of the person defending them. John Jones says he suggests I should make an injury prevention program for hoophandbook.com. It's a good idea. Maybe I will do that. Raul Marmolejo says, he says, do I feel the feedback? Wait a minute. He says, a role model to a whole lot of people in the basketball world and the world in general, do I feel the feedback the way we feel it by watching videos, using your programs, following your word? I don't understand what you mean by feel the feedback. I've never heard anyone use that phrase. And then he follows up by saying, do I feel respect, loyalty, and dedication from fans keeping up with your channel, determined to follow through with your ways of conquering the courts? Yes, definitely I feel the respect, loyalty, dedication. Of course, absolutely. That's why I do these Q&A videos to answer the questions of people who want to get some information from me. Hopefully I can share some information I don't have. I can refer you to someone who does has it, as I've been doing. Brandon Andonoff says he read the ebook, Pro Shot Shooting System. It's good stuff. It's good. Says, has it made me change my shot? And someone just asked me that question. No, it did not make me change my shot. I didn't change anything about my shot from the book, but I like the book because it has very good, comprehensive information. Me personally, I didn't feel like I need to change anything from my shot, but that's just me. Some of you may read it and you might change 30 things. So everybody has their own preferences of what they want to do with the information that they get. But that's why I refer y'all to it, because it has all the information. I answered every question. Joshua Wong says, I play outdoor basketball, but he gets more tan every month, even though he uses suntan lotion. Do I have any advice? Well, Joshua, you in the sun, you're going to get darker. I mean, it's just what happens. I don't know what to tell you. Sam Bortnick says, do I think that weightlifting as a 13-year-old can stunt your growth? No. Weightlifting as a 13-year-old will not stunt your growth. I don't know where the stunt growth from lifting weights myth came from, but it's not true. But lifting weights at 13 could stunt your health if you don't know what you're doing. So you should probably consult someone who knows what they're doing. If you don't have that, you should probably check out Ultimate Athlete and/or Positional Power programs at hoophandbook.com, for which you can start using weights at that age, but you get a basis of information and strength before you hit the weights, so you don't actually injure yourself, which is the main thing that's your problem if you're that young lifting weights. It's not about stunting your growth, it's about injuring yourself because you don't know what you're doing. And Hartful13 says, do I still believe in Miami winning the series at the San Antonio went up 3-1? Yeah, well, I picked the Heat to win in 5. Obviously, they're not going to win in 5. They might lose in 5. But, yeah, I picked Miami. I'm not going to change my pick. It's not a prediction if you change your pick in the middle of the series. So we're just going to see what happens as it plays out. Sun Devils Basketball says, I'm 17-year-old. I start at point guard for my high school varsity. He plays summer league, which for 15 to 17-year-olds, for guys who didn't make their school teams. He trained hard. Competition is low. His motivation was 0. His aggression was 0. He made sure they won, though. He's used to being aggressive and being the team's leading scorer. But if I was in that situation where I take it easy and make sure you won every game, or take advantage and put up 40 each game, well, Sun Devils, what you playing for? If you're not motivated and you're not aggressive when you're playing, why are you playing? Go play somewhere else with better competition. What's stopping you from doing that? You're a starting varsity point guard and you're 17. I'm sure there are other places you can play besides that league. So if you're not motivated, go play somewhere where you will be motivated. Graham Hall says, do I think Carmelo will stay with the Knicks? Well, Carmelo is opting into free agency. He's opting out of his contract into free agency. I think he's going to leave the Knicks. I think he'll leave. Where? I don't know. Raymar Cruz says, where's your boy West? Does he still play? What does he do now? I ain't really going to talk about that man's business. You had to contact him and ask him. Tough 10, he says, Dre, will it be another summer serious game that you were playing? I don't know. You had to ask Nike Basketball about that. That's not my call. Lethal Celtic says, what sports other than basketball do I enjoy playing? I don't play any other sport. Dmitry Tukovic says, am I 6'4" in shoes or without them? I'm just 6'4", period. AC King says, between Penny Hardaway and Grant Hill in his Detroit years, and T-Mac, who I think would have the better overall career if all of them were able to remain healthy. If all three remain healthy, I would actually go with Penny Hardaway. That's a good question. I'll go with Penny, but Grant Hill definitely could have been the man also if he didn't get hurt. And T-Mac actually had the best health of the three of those guys, and he had a pretty good run. And T-Mac had a lot of chances. So I'm going to eliminate T-Mac just off of that. I'm going to go with Penny Hardaway. But you couldn't be wrong with any of the three. Last question. Champ the First says, Dre, have I heard 50 Cent's new album? Yes. He says, what are my thoughts on it? Like it, dislike it, favorite songs? I didn't think this album was that great of 50's, but I'm a big fan of 50. I'm like one of his core fans. And a core fan is like a person, I'm going to like everything he puts out. I might not love it, but I'm going to like everything he puts out. So I like it, but it's not the greatest 50 album. It's definitely not. My favorite song on there at this point, I like the first song, Hold On, and I like a song called Hustler. I like that. And then I like kind of added some songs to it, like all the stuff he put out, the singles he put out that didn't actually get on the album, like the one with Kendrick, the New Day with Alicia Keys, the My Life with Adam Levine and Eminem. I threw a couple of those on there. The Big Rich Town song he put out, which is for his TV show Power, I like added those to the end of the album. So when I listen to that new 50 album, it's actually got like 7 extra tracks that aren't officially on the album. But those actually might be on his next project. So that's what I think of 50's album. All right, so everybody, thank you for the questions. It's the most questions we had in a minute. So thank everybody for the questions. As usual, hit that like button. You want to see me do more of these Q&As. Hit that subscribe. Make sure you catch all the new content I'm putting out every single day over here. hoophandbook.com for all your workout needs. I think that's it. Any questions you got further than these, put them in the comments of this video. Don't say nothing crazy. Don't respond to nobody else's question. That's it. That's all. Work on your game. DreAllDay.com. I had a guaranteed 10 inches to your vertical, not a maybe 10 inches. Guaranteed 10 inches to your vertical. Go to DreAllDay.com/jump. Get the jump manual. When you get it, I'm going to give you 5 free pen books or any free DVD. All you got to do is email me the receipt. DreAllDay.com/jump.
This is Jay from Harlem, New York. Work on your game.